Good evening. We are continuing with our geometry unit and just adding on a little bit from lesson 11-1. This is not a really big standalone lesson. Talking about reasoning and parallel lines. So we've previously talked about parallel lines, and we've talked about this kind of reasoning when we discussed Pythagorean theorem. So starting with the essential question, what additional angle relationships are based on parallel lines? Okay, so the fact that lines are parallel gives us a ton of information in geometry. But the reverse is also true. And I want you to look at this word deductive reasoning. Again, the word is deductive reasoning. And as I'm talking about it, I want you to write down some notes. Write down a couple things that you notice I say. Repeat this if you need to. So, deductive reasoning is taking the idea that, well, if corresponding angles are congruent when I have parallel lines, then if I have equal measurements in corresponding angles, the lines must be parallel. Okay? If my mom and dad have me, and then they have another child and it's a girl child, then I will likely call her sister. Okay? It's following a line of logic. The best definition of it is following a line of logic, and you can think of it very much in a detective way. Okay, so once again, the symbol for parallel is like that. I don't tend to draw them straight up because they do look like an 11, little bit of an angle to it. Okay, and remember, we talked about the fact that these angles would be corresponding. And if the corresponding angles have the same measurement, let's at least do something reasonable. And okay, these are 80 degrees, then the lines must be parallel. If they're congruent, then parallel lines. And that if-then statement becomes a very important thing in deductive reasoning. If this happens, then that happens. It's going to follow you into science as well. Okay. Same thing here. Alternate interior angles. Okay. If each of these is 75 degrees, and you can tell I am not measuring them, I'm just trying to be reasonable, then if they're congruent, the lines must be parallel. But what if I have alternate interior angles here? So in my homework, or if I was providing evidence, I might make a note. Alternate interior angles. And then I might ask the question. Again, think of this almost like a hypothesis. Parallel? Well, do they have the same angle measurement? 121 does not equal 122. Therefore, not See how this lends itself to explaining really well. And all I did was write three little bullet point sentences. They're not even complete sentences. Note, I have alternate anterior angles. Question, are the lines parallel? 121 does not equal 122. Therefore, A and B not parallel. That's it. That is the deductive reasoning that we're talking about. Have a great evening. I cannot wait to see you in class.